Legion, We Are Bob by Dennis E. Taylor. I got this book because, as it turns out, I'm a giant sucker for science fiction, especially AI books. But this one is a little bit different because the AI is actually a mind that they actually took from an existing person. The story surrounds a character, Bob, who had recently come into money and decided to get himself frozen upon his death in the event that they'd be able to fix his body in the future when the technology was able to handle that. And so, of course, he gets killed immediately after getting the insurance policy and wakes up centuries later, only to find that his consciousness is being uploaded to a probe being shot out into space to look for habitable planets. Now, all of that is very out there sci-fi, but that just so happens to be just the kind that I like. The story follows the Bob character's adjustment to his new life as a probe, having no body, and how he deals with it. Kind of clever, actually. And he's looking for habitable planets because there was a war on Earth that made it unsuitable for people, so they need to evacuate everyone off of the Earth, and his mind is kind of handling it. There isn't too many characters in the book because the main character, Bob, is able to make copies of himself, and each copy then becomes a character. It can be a little bit confusing keeping track of which Bob is speaking. They all have their own names. It is kind of interesting on how he did it. After the character splits, they have the same memories. From that point on, they have different experiences, which makes them different characters. Kind of clever, but a little confusing. It's kind of neat seeing how he was able to use his imagination, the author that is, and basically it almost is like he made his own Star Trek. The different worlds that the Bobs find and discover, different life. But the Bob that's left handling the evacuation, I could have almost done without that part of the story, because there's nobody on the planet, as far as the story goes, that we really care about. There are no real quality characters on that side of the story. But that's just my opinion. So those are really the two fronts of the book. One dealing with the evacuation, the other dealing with exploration in different species, not of all of which are friendly. And you can tell the author really borrows a lot of different aspects of science fiction from other popular TV shows and books. For example, the first clone he calls Number 2, and that clone names himself Riker, which is obviously a Star Trek reference. And will not be the only Star Trek reference to the whole book. This book itself, though, kind of ends. To me, there's no real resolution, which is fine because there are another 2 books after this one. One is out, one is currently about to be released. But it's still a good story, and I probably will get the next book. The book itself is not very long. You can probably get it finished in roughly 9 hours or so. A good afternoon read on a rainy day. But it's also just a very light read. Strictly entertaining and not a thing more. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'll talk to you next time.